Salute and welcome to Wild Country Daily Updates. This article is from New York Times. Judge moves to prevent Hegseth, Waltz, and others from deleting Houthi texts. Hang on. Let's see what this does. Now, it says a federal judge in Washington on Thursday ordered several Trump administration officials who participated in a single group chat discussing the details of a pending attack on Yemen to preserve all of the messages they exchanged on the app in the days leading up to strikes. They say the decisions by the judge, James E. Boasberg, came in response to a lawsuit filed this week by a non-profit watchdog group, American Oversight, they say, which has accused President Trump's national security team of violating federal records laws by using Signal. They say an encrypted commercial platform to chat about the highly sensitive attack on Houthi rebels in Yemen. They also say the order by Judge Boasberg, who sits in federal district court in Washington, applied to top administration officials, including Mr. Trump's national security advisor, Michael Waltz, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, the Director of National Intelligence, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Vice President J.D. Vance. They say it covered the period between March 11th and March 15th as the administration was putting together its plans to attack the Houthis. They also say the judge's order was an early sign that at least some of the usual channels of accountability are still operating after the most senior administration officials engaged in an extraordinary breach of operational security, and Mr. Trump's Attorney General Pam Bondi signed that the Justice Department is not likely to investigate the matter. They say Miss Bondi, appearing on the Ingram Angle on Fox News on Thursday night, included Judge Boasberg in the administration continuing attacks on federal judges who have recently pushed back against Mr. Trump's repeated attempts to expand his own powers through executive actions. It goes on to say Miss Bondi said that Judge Boasberg needed to be removed from the single case and other Trump administration matters, along with other jurists. They also say at a hearing in federal court in Washington on Thursday, Judge Boasberg made clear that he had issued his preservation order to be sure that none of the single messages were lost, not because he had made a finding that administration officials had done anything wrong. They also say American Oversight, which often seeks to pry loose information from the government under the Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, has claimed that the administration's use of Signal to discuss the attack plans violated the Federal Records Act, which requires officials' communications by agency officials to be preserved. They also say Judge Boasberg has not yet determined whether a violation actually occurred. They also go on to say the revelation that top Trump administration officials not only discussed a pending military strike, but also inadvertently invited a journalist, Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, into the chat, has shocked the national security establishment. The lawsuit filed by American Oversight was in some sense a preemptive measure to ensure that the full record of what was said on that group chat not deleted. They also say the Justice Department in a filing on Thursday afternoon said that one of the participants in the chat, Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, had already turned over the versions of the message that was on his phone. They also say in the same filing, a lawyer at the Pentagon asserted that he had requested a full copy of the chat from Mr. Hegseth, but it remained unclear whether it had been turned over. Well, for one, if he asserted that he had requested a full copy, he should know if he got that copy or not. Then it goes on to say Judge Boasberg began the court hearing where he ordered the chat to be preserved with an extraordinary, if muted, acknowledgement of the extreme pressure he is facing from Mr. Trump and his allies. They also say, early Thursday morning, Mr. Trump posted a message on social media, falsely declaring that it was statistically impossible for Judge Boasberg to have been assigned not only the single chat case, but also other significant matters involving Mr. Trump. Those include a lawsuit challenging his use of an rarely invoked wartime statute to deport scores of Venezuelan immigrants from the country without a hearing or any other form of due process. They also go on to say, as Thursday's hearing began, Judge Boasberg took a moment to explain to the public how he had come to be involved in the case in the first place. He said that he had been assigned to the single case by the normal process of random selection out of a total of 24 judges in the district, a clear rebuff of Mr. Trump's false accusations against him. They also say the president and his allies have called for Judge Boasberg to be impeached for the decisions he has made in the immigration case. They also go on to say, in the matter, he has temporarily barred the administration from using a powerful and rarely invoked wartime statute and deport scores of Venezuelan immigrants from the country without the normal due process of hearing. So let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think Trump and his team are wrong? Do you think the judge has every right to do what he's doing? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Until next time, peace out.